Good morning, good afternoon out there, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning into the Merchant Services Slayers group. Again, my name is Carson Cook. Very excited to talk about this topic today, guys. But before I do, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe these videos. Subscribe to this channel. Share these videos with anyone in merchant services, any team leads, managers, anyone that's going to actually help, guys. We put these videos out to help people. It's open to the public, so very excited to have that. Also, just kind of a shameless plug here, guys. We do have Card Builder, which is a 30-day mastermind. So if anyone is interested in getting into merchant services, click on the link below. Should give you a direct link there to set up a strategy session. We can kind of talk about it, so on and so forth. Or if you're just looking to kind of advance your career in merchant services, go from 10 deals a month to 20 deals a month. Drop me a message, shoot me the thing on Facebook or whatever within the Merchant Services Slayers group if you're interested in that, and then I can shoot you over some information. But today, guys, I'm going to talk about a topic that I love to talk about, especially the product that we sell. And today we're going to talk about my top 3 favorite closes within selling cash discounting, okay? And again, these work very, very well, especially if you practice them, if you role play, and if you talk to your national accounts director, talk to some of your coworkers, talk to your family members and role play. Especially with these closes, guys, it's important that whatever close that you deliver, it needs to be natural, it needs to come right off the tip of your tongue, and it needs to flow with the certain situation and flow with the conversation with your merchant. It's super important within communication to have not necessarily just a script, but the intention and the idea behind why you're giving or delivering that particular close. Super important. So today we're going to talk about my top 3 favorite closes, okay? We're not going to go too much in detail because I could speak for hours on these, but take this to the bank, guys. Use these, give these a shot and practice these. It's going to really help your cash discounting sales. It's going to go through the roof, and it's actually going to help your closing game, okay? So first, when I talk about the closes, the first one is the profit margin close. Now, I love to use this one because it doesn't require, it's not too complicated, but what we do is we actually break down the merchant's profit margin. We put a value over the head of each customer that might come in the door, okay? And this is important to figure out how much money they're actually wasting by paying merchant processing fees. How much money are they actually wasting? How many customers, man hours do they waste? And I love to use this, especially with restaurants, because restaurants don't have a particularly high profit margin. Now, just to give you a good example, one that I love to use is a merchant that is paying $2,000 a month in fees. Now, whether they're paying 2.5%, 2.2%, 2%, and 3%, whatever that is, you want to take the amount of money that they're spending every month, let's just say a base $2,000 a month, and figure out how much is that worth to the number of customers. Okay, so if we're doing $2,000 a month in fees, let's say the merchant has a great profit margin. Now, restaurants typically have a profit margin between 10% to 20%, right? If they're a good restaurant, they might have 20% profit. If they're not so good restaurant, they might do volume, they might get 10% profit. Now, what does that mean? What does profit margin actually mean? Well, that means that if they did $100,000 in sales, the total net at 10% of that would be $10,000. The total net of that, if it was 20%, would be $20,000. So if that owner, did $100,000 in sales for a restaurant, that's very difficult to do. There's man hours involved, there's labor, there's electricity costs, there's labor costs, there's food costs, there's food waste, there's customer appreciation, there's all sorts of stuff. The hours that go into producing $100,000 at a restaurant or a sports bar and a grill is very difficult. So each dollar counts in this scenario. So if that merchant is doing, for example, $100,000 a month, and they make 20% profit, you can break that down into, let's say it's a pizza store. So a pizza store, profit margin at a $10 pizza, so if they have a typical pizza they sell and they sell a lot, it's popular, $10, they sell it for $10, the owner's gonna take home $2. So if their bill is $2,000, that means that that $2,000 is actually worth 1,000 customers. If their average ticket is $10 and that's their $10 pizza, that's the most popular selling item, then that $2,000 worth to that merchant is actually 1,000 customers. So then you have to tell that merchant that when you break it down like that, if your profit margin is 20% and your bill is $2,000, you're actually spending not only just the $2,000 in profit and fees every single month, because that's cold hard profit, but you're also wasting the time investment to make that $2,000, which is super, super, super drastic if you're a business owner, if you're a restaurant. Not only to make that profit, that $2,000 is worth 1,000 customers, you have to serve 1,000 customers the food. You have to pay the people to serve them that food. So that that $2,000 is worth more to you, Mr. Merchant, than $2,000. It might be worth your time, your money, your investment, all this stuff. It might be worth more than that. You could be spending that doing something else. So if you look at it, you would have to actually Convince me, Mr. Merchant or Mrs. Merchant, okay, that you would lose 1,000 customers in this scenario. Because even if you lost 50 customers, it's still not worth the money that you're saving in profit. It doesn't make financial sense. And that's going to actually lead me to number 2. My second favorite close, guys, within selling cash discount is the good financial decision close, okay? And this is where you constantly use that term over and over and over with every close that you give, is that you're making sure that the merchant understands fully that they are making a very sound and smart decision, a very good financial decision. Okay, the financial decision close is basically again and again and again repeating, say, hey, we need to make a very smart financial decision here. You didn't get to the point in life where you're a business owner, where you took on the American dream and you got successful. You made it. You made a situation for yourself where more than 99% of the businesses actually go out of business in the United States, and the 1% succeed. Out of that 10%, those are successful, right? So you're there. You're sitting across from me, and you didn't get there by making poor financial decisions. This, my friend John, or this, my friend Mr. Merchant, okay, is a good financial decision. And you need to make good financial decisions. You're literally taking that $2,000 a month in pure profit. You're putting it in the corner. You're going to the gas station. You're filling it up with gasoline. You're pouring it on there and you're lighting it on fire. Every single month you're lighting that on fire. Every single month you're taking a teacher's salary, $24,000 a year. Yes, I wish teachers got paid more. And you're setting that shit on fire. It's burning. Okay, does that sound like a smart financial decision to you? Now, I understand the fear. I understand that you think you might lose business, but this is a very poor financial decision. Getting back to this, you need to work yourself into a good financial decisions. You didn't get to where you are today by making poor financial decisions. So with a stroke of a pen, you can make a sound, solid, smart financial decision, okay, and put that $2,000 back in your pocket. Okay, that's the close right there. The good financial decision close is super important. Now, circling back and around, what we use to go free pay is a combination of these, but our favorite one is delaying the inevitable, displaying cash discount to a merchant throughout the sale, so that way you have the opportunity to build rapport, and that way you also have the situation where when you do have that rapport, the merchant will take everything you say into account. Okay, now just because we've got a good product, you've got a good close and a good pitch, if that merchant doesn't trust you or doesn't understand what you're saying, it's like pitching to a fence post. Okay, and I talked about that a lot. Now, number 3, the other third favorite close that I love to talk about here, guys, is the emotion to savings close. It's super important. Now, how you do this is, we talk about this in merchant services. Again, you don't want to just sell on savings. There's a lot of other value-added propositions there. There's POS stations, there's other value-added lead-ins, some people do websites, whatever it happens to be, great. But when you're selling cash discount, that's not something to bat an eye at. I mean, it's something to definitely take into consideration, is the fact that you are now saving a merchant 99%. Or 100%, or 80%. That's a lot of cash. A lot different from when we first started to say, give me a statement, I'll save you $100 a month, I'll save you $5 a month, I'll save you $50 a month. So when you're talking about thousands of dollars, especially a merchant that's spending $2,000 a month on fees and costs, okay, those fees and costs equal up to $24,000 per year. And you can put yourself in a situation where you say, well, how long have you been in business? So if you would have done this 5 years ago, we are talking some serious money. That's over $100,000 that you could have bought your house with or spent on something else. But for you, it's different. So what we do with our close is we make something that's extremely boring, which is merchant services, finance, numbers, spreadsheets, bills, and we put something that means something to it. It's an emotional close. So how do we do this? Well, we take emotion to the savings close. So we say, well, what would you do with that $2,000 a month? I mean, that right there is a mortgage. You put your kid through school, you go on vacation, you could buy a boat, you could buy a car. What would you do with it? You buy a watch, whatever you want to do. What would you do with that money? The merchant has to tell you. And if they don't give you something that's very meaningful to them, you got to get them to get it to you. Then you say, well, great. Now, if you could do that, and you knew for a fact that I could put this in writing for you and do all this and make sure that every month I would come by with a check for $2,000 and put it in the fishbowl, right? I put a fishbowl that says, Carson's Fishbowl. And I say, see you next month for the $2,000. And I drop that check in there every single month. What would you do with it? And you do this. But then if I could do that, how would you feel? So if you were doing that every month, that new thing with that $2,000, how would you feel? This will ultimately lead you to the fact of you are now providing that feeling, not just a safe haven for that cash, right? So then you could actually follow that up with a very serious green light. I say, John, well, let me do this, man. If I can put it in writing that every single month I'll give you that check Every single month, I'll put you in that opportunity where you can put your kid through school and you can pay for that tuition and you can feel exactly like you said you would. Do I have an opportunity to earn your business? And be very serious. And the merchant will say, yeah, you know what? If you can make me feel that way, let's go. So those are 3 important closes with cash discounting, guys, that you can use that are super important. First one's very logical. So going over the 3 again is the the profit margin close, right? Really figuring out how much that is worth, right? $2,000 a month in fees and your profit margin is 20%. That means that that's worth 1,000 customers. So you'd have to say, Mr. Merchant, you have to convince me that if you're going to charge your customers an extra 4% on top of their price, you're going to lose 1,000 customers. I mean, you could lose 1,000 customers by spitting in their food, punching them in the face, swearing at them, calling idiots when they walk through the door. Then you might lose 1,000 customers. But for 4%, it's not going to happen. Even if you lost 100 customers, it still doesn't make up for the fact that you're not going to lose 1,000 customers a month over 4%. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. That's not what happens. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. You will get some concerns, and you might actually get a couple complaints. But those people come back. If your product's good enough, they'll come back. You got great pizza. Right? So the profit margin close, super important. Number 2, the good financial decision close. Always talking about why they're in their current situation by making sound, solid financial decisions. John, you made sound, solid financial decisions. That's why you're in profit. That's why you have these 2 locations. That's why you have these 10 locations. That's why you have this chain. That's why you have a board of directors and you have managers and you've done this for 10 years. You're successful by making smart choices. This is not a bad choice. Have you ever raised your prices? And say, yeah, I've raised prices, so you're still in business, right? You have complaints about that? Probably, but you're still here. So this is a sound, solid choice, sound, solid financial decision. Let's make it together. Let's get rid of that fear. And with a stroke of a pen, we'll put that $2,000 right back in your pocket. Okay, number 3, the emotion to savings close. Merchant processing, again, guys, is very boring. We're talking about fucking spreadsheets and numbers and bills and merchants don't have time for it. They don't even care about it. And you know this because every time you talk to a merchant, most of the time they don't even know who they're with and they don't care. That's how boring this industry is. So you need to make it exciting for them. You need to take the savings and equate that, guys, to something that means something to them. So other than that, guys, if you like more of this content, like we said before, please, guys, if you can, share it with anyone that you might need help or that might need help. Share it with those that want to learn how to sell better cash discounting. Spread it around. And also, if you are interested in more information, guys, our Car Builder course is awesome. It's 27 hours of content with 17 to 18 different activities that if you follow through with, will be guaranteed to help you increase your portfolio. So rock and roll, kick some ass, guys. Let's see you out there on the sales board.